Have you ever sat through a speech and forgotten the main points by the time it ended? You're not alone. Studies show that around 70% of people struggle to remember the details of a speech just minutes after it's over. Shocking, right? The truth is, the way you end your speech can make all the difference between being forgotten or being remembered. Imagine if you could captivate your audience from start to finish. Wouldn't it be amazing if your final words left them inspired and eager to take action? A powerful ending can boost your speech's impact by 30% or more. That's not just a statistic, it's a game changer. In this video, we will explore 6 unique strategies to craft a perfect speech ending. You'll discover how to use science to create memorable moments, the art of storytelling to connect with your audience, and even the magic of silence to amplify your message. Get ready to transform your speaking skills and leave your audience with something they'll remember long after you've stepped off the stage. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets of a perfect speech ending. Chapter 1: The science behind memorable endings. A strong ending to your speech is what people remember most. This isn't just a guess, it's backed by science. Psychologists call it the recency effect. It's the idea that people are more likely to remember the last thing they hear. According to a study by Glanzer and Kunitz, items at the end of a sequence are recalled better than those in the middle. So, your closing is your prime opportunity to leave a lasting mark. To take full advantage of this, don't just summarize your points at the end of your speech. That's predictable and forgettable. Instead, aim to tap into the emotional or intellectual core of your audience. Studies show that when people feel something strongly, their brains light up, encoding that moment deeply into their memory. That's why great closings often resonate emotionally. Here's a pro tip: use power words at the end of your speech. These are words that evoke strong feelings like transform, believe, or unstoppable. A well-placed power word can make your final sentence stick like glue. According to the book Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath, simplicity and concreteness are crucial. Keep your final message clear and direct. No one remembers a complicated closing. Chapter 2: The twist ending. How to shock and inspire. Have you ever watched a movie that seemed predictable, only to be blown away by a twist at the end? That's because our brains love surprises. In speeches, a twist ending can create the same effect. When used right, it makes your audience sit up and take notice. Imagine your audience nodding along to your speech, thinking they know where you're going. Then, boom, you hit them with a perspective or fact they didn't expect. Research shows that unexpected information can create an aha moment, which actually activates the brain's reward system. This means people feel good when they're surprised in a positive way. They're more likely to remember you and your message. One great way to add a twist is to challenge a common belief. For instance, if you're talking about leadership, you could say, most people think great leaders have all the answers. But in reality, the best leaders ask the right questions. That shift in perspective can spark reflection and conversation after your talk. Just be sure your twist aligns with your overall message. A random surprise can feel forced. According to The Art of Rhetoric by Aristotle, logic and emotional appeal should always work together. A twist ending, if done right, will reinforce your key point and leave people thinking long after you're done speaking. Chapter 3: Emotional echo. Wrapping with a personal touch. There's a reason why TED Talks often end with a personal story or heartfelt reflection. People connect with stories. A study from Princeton University found that when someone tells a story, the listener's brain actually mirrors the speaker's brain activity. This is called neural coupling, and it's why personal stories have such a powerful impact. If you want your speech ending to resonate, share something real and personal. It doesn't need to be long or overly dramatic. Even a small story about a lesson you learned can make a huge difference. The key is authenticity. Audiences can spot fake emotion a mile away. But when you're genuine, they lean in. Consider closing with a reflective question like, what will your legacy be? Questions prompt your audience to think and internalize your message. According to research, people are 20% more likely to remember a message if they feel a personal connection to it. Ending with a question allows your audience to tie your speech to their own lives. And don't forget the power of vulnerability. Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, talks about how vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. If you end your speech with something honest and real, your audience will feel that, and they'll remember it. If you're enjoying these insights, make sure to subscribe. We'll dive deeper into more strategies for effective speaking. Chapter 4: The callback. Closing the circle with elegance. There's something deeply satisfying about a story that comes full circle. It feels complete, and your audience loves that feeling. This is where the callback technique shines. A callback refers to referencing something you said earlier in your speech. It's like tying a bow on your entire message, and it signals to your audience that the journey is over. Think about this: people crave patterns. Our brains are wired to recognize and appreciate symmetry. According to Dr. Robert Cialdini, author of Influence, when we complete a mental loop, it creates a sense of closure and satisfaction. This makes the callback such a powerful tool. For instance, if you began your speech with a story, quote, or even a joke, revisit it in your closing. But this time, give it deeper meaning. If you started with a personal anecdote about a challenge you faced, wrap up by showing how that experience shaped your message or purpose. It makes your talk feel intentional and well-crafted, and your audience will appreciate that. A great example comes from Steve Jobs. In his 2005 Stanford commencement speech, he began by saying, "Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life." He ends by circling back to those stories, connecting them to his core message about following your heart. It's simple, but it works because the callback reinforces his key points. Use this technique sparingly. If you call back too many things, it can feel cluttered. Focus on 1 or 2 central themes or stories, and your ending will feel smooth and purposeful. Chapter 5, The Micro-Motivation Method. End with action. Inspiration is great, but action is even better. When you finish your speech, leave your audience with something they can do immediately. This creates momentum and empowers your listeners to take the next step, no matter how small. Research shows that people are more likely to act when given a specific, achievable task. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that small, manageable goals create a sense of progress, leading to greater overall motivation. That's why you should end your speech with what I call micro-motivation, a simple call to action that's easy to implement. Instead of saying, "Go out and change the world," which sounds vague and overwhelming, offer something concrete like, "Tomorrow morning, take 10 minutes to plan one action you'll take this week toward your goal." This gives your audience direction and helps them feel capable. They walk away thinking, "I can do that." Another effective technique is to use social proof to drive action. You could say, "Join the thousands of people who've already started their journey toward," or, "Just like so many others who've made this change, you can start today." This taps into a psychological principle known as the bandwagon effect, where people are influenced to act because others are doing it. By giving your audience a small win, you make your message stick. They'll remember you not only for inspiring them but for empowering them with a clear next step. Chapter 6, Silence as Power. The pause that echoes. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say at the end of your speech is, nothing. A well-placed pause can amplify your final words in a way no sentence ever could. Silence has a unique ability to command attention and create space for your message to sink in. This might sound counterintuitive. After all, isn't a speech about speaking? But science backs the power of silence. According to a study from the Journal of Psycholinguistic Research, strategic pauses increase the audience's retention of information by 30%. That's a huge boost in impact, simply by giving your words room to breathe. Here's how to use it. After delivering your final line, whether it's a powerful statement, a question, or a call to action, pause. Let the silence linger for 3 to 5 seconds. This creates a moment of reflection for your audience. They'll feel the weight of your message, and it gives them time to process what you just said. Winston Churchill was famous for using pauses in his speeches. He once said, "The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause." That still holds true today. Pausing shows confidence. It says, "I believe what I just said is important, and I'm giving you a moment to absorb it." Silence can also enhance emotional moments. If you end on a personal story or heartfelt message, that pause allows your audience to sit with their feelings. It adds gravity and weight to your words, making your conclusion unforgettable. Thank you for joining us on this journey to master the art of speech endings. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and insights that will help you become a great speaker.